The next part of our presentation is our market update. So this is something that we do every Tuesday, and we share with you what happened in the market last month. So we are firmly in September, but we don't have any of the August numbers yet. None of the MLSs have reported. They typically start reporting around about the 10th of the month. So if you guys will check back in as we do the update on Tuesday, next Tuesday, you guys will get all of the August numbers in here as well. But I will give you all the directional numbers for what it looks like for August based on the pending sales. So I'm going to break it out a couple different ways. So I'm going to give you a roll up for all of Texas, and then I'm going to break out some of the four major markets in Texas. And you guys, I'm going to go through here fast, so I'm not going to read every single number on here. You're welcome to either take pictures of the screen if you want, or you can check out our YouTube channel, or you can check out our Facebook page to be able to copy these straight off the screen there. But last month, sales price $423,000, up 9%. So again, no one's feeling sorry for us in real estate, right? But if you look at our closed sales for all of Texas, they were down last month 16% year over year. And for the first time in a long time, our closed price to our list price, or our initial asking price, is 99.1%. For about the last couple of years, it's been over 100%, meaning if a house was listed for 100, it sold for 101. But we're not seeing that right now. Active listings are up. So if you look at it versus where we were last year, just about 57,000 active listings versus today, we are over 83 active listings. So that is a big change for us as well. So as we grow inventory, as we grow supply, what do we see happen with prices? The appreciation starts to moderate until it gets somewhere between 4 to 6 months of inventory. Once we get over 6 months of inventory, typically we see opportunities for what? The price to possibly go down. I think Texas is in a great place overall, simply because the inventory has been so low for so long. Builders have not been able to keep up. Even though we are going into a changing and uncertain market, we're not going in with a whole lot of supply. So that's one of the things that will save us over the next several months, and even maybe over the next couple of years. In Dallas and Fort Worth, the average price last month was up 15%. Closed sales were down 14%, and pending sales in Dallas down 15%. Remember, this was before the second 0.75% interest rate increase. So I expect the August numbers will still look pretty good, but I think as we start to get into the September numbers, they're going to look a little bit harsher, because everyone who bought in August probably locked before that second 0.75% increase. Everybody follow this? Okay, good. Okay. Here's the flip side to sales, the number of sales going down. Leases are going bananas. So in 2020, 2021, and the first 3 months of 2022, many buyers were writing love letters to their sellers, right? Because they wanted to be hey, I know you've got 55 offers. Here's why you should pick me. Now, there are some fair housing violations in doing that, so please don't do that unless you're working with a realtor who has no clue. You don't. Dang it. Okay, here we go. You don't get in trouble as the buyer, but your realtor and their realtor, and maybe even the seller, might get in trouble. But now we're seeing something very interesting. The love letters that used to go to the sellers are now going to this is the never heretofore heard of, is what? Where are they going now? The landlords. The landlords. So you know all those dogs you guys got during quarantine? You know what I'm saying? Who of you got a dog during quarantine? It's okay. Really, none of you. Okay. A couple of you guys got a dog or animal, right, during quarantine, right? So literally these love letters say what? Listen, I will give away my dog if I can get into this house. I'm not kidding you. And to some of you guys, you're like, oh, there's terrible people. It's like, well, no, they need a place to live. And someone else will adopt them, I promise. Especially if they're a poodle mix. Anyway, moving on. So leases are up and lease prices are up. In Houston, the average sales price was up 10%. Closed sales down 17%. Pending sales down 12.5%. In Houston, leases were up 14.5%. Lease prices were up 6%. So again, we're seeing people move from the home purchase market to the leasing market. In Austin last month, the average sales price was up 9%. Closed sales, oh my gosh. Austin went up the fastest and went up the mostest in terms of year-over-year sales, in terms of price, and it's now going down the hardest in terms of year-over-year sales. I know I am in Austin, Texas today, and I know some of you guys are thinking, is it over? Maybe the bar's still open. Sales are down, pending sales from roughly 4,000 to under 3,000. So about a 25% decrease in pending sales, our closest leading indicator of what closed sales will be next month. So I think Austin is going to have a really rough year. Now, if you look at my forecast in January, February, and March, I was saying that our sales were going to be, as we ended 2022, I was forecasting our sales were going to be up maybe 1 to 2%, because even last year they were up 1 to 2%, even though we only had about a half month supply of inventory. But now, after I've seen the dramatic impact of these inflation interest rate increases are having on us, then I'm forecasting sales may be down in Austin by as much as 15%. But that average price is still going to be up because we're still, even though we have 250% more inventory than what we had the same time last year, we still have very little inventory overall. And Austin was one of those markets where the closed price to the original list price was 101, 101%, 102% or higher. Right now it is 98.8%. So even Austin's falling a little. Did you have a question, sir?
Yeah, one comment and question is now the slides show so far for the market prices increasing.
Yes, prices are increasing. Yeah.
And last year it's 20%, which is still a very healthy price increase.
Oh my gosh, it's a beautiful price increase. Yeah, it's a beautiful price increase. The first part of the year, and even if you look at the rolling last 12 months, it's been 30+%. If you look at what it was the same time last year, prices were up 34%. It's huge. Yeah. 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 Absolutely. It's a great number for an investor, especially the ones that can buy and hold, because it's hard to say. And this is one of those markets where it's really hard to say what's going to happen over the next 6 months. And that's why, it's like all I can look at is the inflation number. And if you guys could stop buying, what kind of tea were you buying, sir? Arizona. Even they know what kind of tea you were buying now. Yeah. If you had stopped buying that Arizona, pricey Arizona iced tea, if you guys would stop buying stuff just for a little while, and we have a Fed chairman, guys, who is on a mission to stop inflation, and he's willing to cause us to create a recession to be able to do that, which I'm still trying to figure that part out. That recession is better than high interest rates, but I'm gonna go with it. He's studied it for longer than I have. For the San Antonio market, average price was up 12% year over year. Closed sales were down 15%, and it looks like pending sales are down in that 15% range as well. Leases are up in San Antonio 8%. The lease price is up 11%. But again, just like with Austin, we are going to see that even though we'll see a decrease in overall sales, we are going to see still that big increase in the average price. Now, if the interest rates continue to rise, and if we continue to build up that inventory, so even in San Antonio, it was 1.5 months, now it's 2.3, and it's growing very rapidly. And it's not growing because builders are building more houses. It's growing just because buyers are not buying anymore, right? So if we continue to see that, The forecast for 2023 prices will be much lower. So the typical Texas appreciation rate is 5 to 6%. That's probably, and I don't have the exact number, but that's probably about the 30-year average. Okay, so still good, but what I want you guys to know in this market is you can't make mistakes in your renovation. You can't make mistakes with your ARV. You can't, because and over the last 5 years, you know, people would say to me all the time, well, I wasn't going to make any money, but for the market saved me. You won't be saying that anymore. So now it's the time to really do your due diligence and make sure you do that really well. Did you have a question, sir? You know, I do not have the lease numbers for Austin. They are not reported through the Austin Board of Realtors, sadly. I have read in the Wall Street Journal about 2 months ago, and so this was even before all of the big, you know, the last spike, that they were up, at least for the prices, that the prices were up over 20% year over year. Lease prices, yeah. So again, those dear landlord letters that you would, I never, I've always heard of the dear seller letters. Those have been going on for a long time, but I've never heard of a dear landlord letter. So that's how the market is changing, and even here in Austin. Yeah, good question.